From the National Service of the Liberia Broadcasting System, this is Newsline. 30 minutes of news from Liberia and other parts of the world. Today is Monday, August 28, 2023. I am Fabienne Quia presenting. Story stopping this edition, President George Weah vows to continue crucial development interventions to improve the lives of the citizenry. United Party standard bearer makes unannounced trip to Ghana for reported meeting with regional leaders. Liberia Labour Congress divided over outcome of recent elections. And away from home, France defies Niger junta's ultimatum for its ambassador to leave Niamey. These stories and much more, including sports, the news in French, and much more developments. But first, Chris Tao and the news bulletin.
President George Weah has vowed to continue his crucial development interventions leading up to this year's elections. The Liberian leader said as an incumbent, he will continue with his projects and build new ones in the interest of the people. President Weah believes those development initiatives have positively impacted the citizenry, and as leader of the country, he sees no reason to stop.
One account we are very desperate. Even October 9, so we cannot pray that more operation will pay there because we are scared in front of it. So we have the right to do so. The only time that we will now promise you when we are not re-elected.
He was addressing thousands of partisans and supporters at a rally in Tiwa District's Grand Cape Mount County Monday. Many have hailed President Weah for crucial interventions in the areas of health, education, and road infrastructure. Earlier at the program, a number of citizen groups, including first-time voters, pledged their support to the re-election bid of the Liberian leader. The main opposition, Unity Party, UP, has clarified that its standard-bearer, Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boakat's trip to Ghana is not for medical purpose. UP National Chairman Luto Tape said Ambassador Boakat left the country Monday for Accra, Ghana, at the invitation of regional political and business leaders. Chairman Tape, however, refused to disclose the names of the sub-regional leaders who invited the UP standard-bearer.
We travel with his economic advisor and political advisor.
Who are they? The political advisor and economic advisors are who specifically, sir?
Well, I'm sorry, I can't go into all the details. What is important is that our Senator travel.
Do we know specifically who are those leaders in the region he's meeting with? Can you tell us?
I'm not going to tell you on this platform, definitely.
The Unity Party chairman made the clarification in an ELBC interview via mobile phone Monday. Mr. Tapper disclosed that Ambassador Boakat was accompanied to the meeting by some officials of the party and will return to the country over the weekend. Internal wrangling has reportedly ensued within the Liberia Labour Congress after the election of a new leadership of the entity. Embattled Deputy Secretary General John Nutt said majority workers of Liberia have rejected the outcome of the election after the process reportedly failed to meet the minimum standards set by the Supreme Court of Liberia. Recently, the Supreme Court nullified the election that brought John Nutt, Edwin Sisko, amongst others, on board on grounds that public sector workers should not have participated in the Liberia Labour Congress election and ordered a new run of the process. Several individuals, including James Greaves, Marcus Blaman, Ophelia Carpenter, Wilson Wule, amongst others, were elected over the weekend to various positions of the Liberia Labour Congress. But Mr. Nutt clarified that majority members of the LLC do not oppose the Supreme Court's decision but want the court's decision implemented fully void of political influence. Meanwhile, the leadership elect of the Liberia Labour Congress has lauded their colleagues for electing them. They also commended the Supreme Court in providing interpretation of their petition regarding the public sector workers' participation into LLC election. 4 members of the leadership elect James Greaves, Marcus Blaman, Macaulay Jido, and Ophelia Carpenter said the decision was followed and promised to work with public sector workers. In an interview Monday, they said their leadership will seek to engage the legislature to amend clauses in the Decent Work Act that prevent public sector workers from being part of the LLC. They insisted that they have no problem with public sector workers being members of the LLC, but they want the process to be done legally. The United Nations say it remains committed to peace, development and promotion of the rights of women in Liberia. Liberia is celebrating 20 years of uninterrupted peace since the signing of the Accra Peace Agreement in 2003, a process that was vastly influenced by Liberian women. UN Resident Coordinator Christine Omotoni paid special tribute to Liberian women for their relentless efforts in ending the long Liberian Civil War. Madam Omotoni made the comments at the Monrovia City Hall during celebration of Liberia's 20 years of peace organized by Lehman Bowie Foundation, Ellen Johnson Center, and the UN Women. The UN resident coordinator urged on Liberians to maintain the peace as the country goes to elections, noting that the October 10 polls are pivotal to safeguarding peace and democracy. Meanwhile, two diplomats have re-echoed the need to sustain the peace in Liberia, especially during and after the October 10 elections. The diplomats have voiced out their commitment to protecting the rights of women and ensuring equal participation of all genders in political processes. ECOWAS Ambassador Josephine Nkrumah and Irish Ambassador Gerald Considine also recognized the special role women played in ending the Liberian Civil War in 2003. They called on all Liberians to build on the 20 years of peace to ensure the country continues on the path of development and the promotion of women's rights in every sector of the country. Madam Nkrumah particularly called for the flame of peace to continue to burn and that the voices of Liberian women must not be silenced, I beg your pardon. And ECOWAS Special Representative to Liberia, Josephine Nkrumah, wants disaster risk reduction and management integrated into the country's education sector. Ambassador Nkrumah said if integrated, disaster risk reduction will reduce long-term impacts and institutionalize disasters preparedness. The ECOWAS envoy said raising awareness in schools has a significant impact and promotes the construction of safer school buildings to protect students and teachers.
Grace Tao and the news bulletin. She returns a little later with foreign news. One of the big stories we're following: Unity Party standard bearer makes unannounced trip to Ghana for reported meeting with regional leaders. President George Weah has promised to continue his development initiatives even up to time of elections. President Weah noted that the government has a responsibility to deliver to the people and there's no need to turn back. The Liberian leader was addressing thousands of partisans and supporters at a rally in Tewol District, Grand Cape,